Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Ryan and Rob in Wrexham. Now, we've actually really done rather well this season, much better than I was expecting. If we have a quick look at where we were in the schedule, so it was the first couple of games, so Swansea and Sheffield United. We had a draw and a loss, and then another loss saw us pretty near to the bottom of the table. Particularly our run in September had us pretty worried. We were certainly in a dangerous position. I reckon we could at least get through it, but it wasn't going to be easy. Then a 5-1 away win against QPR completely changed our fortunes for October, and we basically won all the games apart from the one against Norwich. Followed up by a pretty, middling form in November, and then really rather strong in December and since in January. Including a 7-1 win against Peterborough where Garnacho scored 4 goals. It's really his upturn in form that has seen us really shoot off. As you can see, he's had a few goals. Charlie Whittaker also has come in and done really rather well. So if we have a look, we've actually made a new signing. So we did sell a couple of players. So we sold Ryan McLaughlin. He went to Glentoran. They wanted him as a free agent at the end of the season, and then I managed to convince them to sign him for 165,000, which I was pretty happy with. Got us a couple of extra K in the wage budget as well. We then sold Ollie Palmer to Southend, who are in the Vanarama National League. Wow, he's going to do well there, I reckon. Certainly quite a big dip in the leagues that he's taken there, but that was 150k and got about 6k off our wage bill. Aaron Hayden, who was our vice captain rather than our captain, but he might have been our captain. I think Ben Tozer. No, Ben Tozer's not here anymore, is he? I think Aaron Hayden was our captain, so he's now gone. He went on for 125,000 to St Mirren. And then Taylor Harvey, who's a youth player, has gone to Hereford on loan. With that money that we made, we signed up Callum White from Wraith Rovers in the Scottish Championship. He looks like he's got pretty good stats. Not the best in terms of dribbling and first touch, but okay crossing for a regen, and then really good defensive and physical stats at this stage. His coach report says he's a Championship standard player who's potentially Premier League standard, and he's come in as a Scottish player to hopefully do some damage for us, and will hopefully be around for quite a while. An update on Najdovski. I did apply for another work permit. It was turned down, and having looked into it more, it basically seems that he can't get a work permit based on his nationality, so he's going to have to do it by playing a lot. I don't know whether the Australian League, playing pretty much every game, counts as enough for him to get his work permit. I don't know if we can we apply for a work permit? 84 more days. So it may be that he never plays for us, which would be a real shame. But let's hope that that's not the case, because otherwise it makes managing in England so much harder, particularly for teams lower in the Premier League, where you want to sign foreigners, but you can't sign them with work permits because they're, if they're cheap, and they're probably from a smaller nation, so they're not going to be able to come and get a work permit based on their nationality. But we can hopefully still use him at some point in the future. I'm hoping he gets a work permit, and then that slightly strengthens us at left back, because we've only really been able to play with James Maxwell at left back because of the number of loan players you're allowed to play at once. Wilson Esbron has barely played, to be honest. He's only played 6 times all season. But yeah, it's not been the easiest thing dealing with the lack of players in the squad. But we've done what we can. James Jones actually left. He was out of contract, so he then left. Can't quite remember where he's gone. Let's have a look. James Jones, there'll probably be a few of them. Oh, he's just decided to leave with no end goal, I guess. He is wanted by Hamilton, so he was a useful option to have simply because we kind of owned him, but he's gone, and that means that we will need to find a replacement for him at some point. I'm also probably needing a striker because we haven't got the biggest squad. Yeah, we definitely need a striker, at least as a backup option. With the money we have, that's not easy to find a good player. Um, we'll do what we can. Hopefully, we can find someone that's going to do some good for us and actually has a bit of long-term ability to him. First up, then, we have an FA Cup game against Bristol City. We are probably just about expected to win this one. Yeah, I don't know why it's showing the staff reaction to the opposite team. Those are certainly not my players, so I don't know quite what's going on there. It doesn't look like there are many players in their team that are on that list anyway. But yeah, hopefully we can do something good in this game against Bristol City. And I hope that Callum White can make an instant impression on his debut. And he's chased it down. It looks like he has a mohawk, so it's an interesting looking character on the pitch. And that's a good save by Cumming, who's come in for Conor O'Malley in his absence due to injury. We've got quite a lot of W's in this team. We've got White, Wood, Whittaker and Whelan. Hopefully they're all going to be just as good as the best of them, which is probably Wood at this point. But they are certainly the three that I've had in the squad up till now this season have done very well. And Whittaker getting a really good header from a brilliant cross by White. That's a really fantastic cross. Garnacho exchanged passes with Galbraith and White. And then he's somehow, I don't know how he's done that cross, to be honest, but it was the perfect pass. And Charlie Whittaker made no mistake with the header. And that's just the start we wanted from Callum White. It's also nice for once to have a little bit of depth at a fullback position, even though we only have one left back. We've mainly been using McLaughlin when we've had a sub at right back, and he wasn't great at this level. He was 2-star about League 2 standard, I think, if not National League. So certainly a big improvement. And Bryce Hosanna is a sort of decent Championship level player. So to have him as a backup to Callum White is really promising. There is actually a player I've spotted in the Scottish Championship as well as White, who's 16 and in the Dream 11 and looks pretty good. He's a Championship level player, potential to be Premier League. I would like to side him, but he isn't currently interested and I don't currently have the money. So we'll see what happens. If we do somehow get promoted this season, we're probably going to be relegated straight away because I don't think we'll have anywhere near big enough a squad for the Premier League. And I also think that the players we have on loan won't be quite good enough yet to cut it in the Premier League, apart from maybe Garnacho. I reckon Garnacho and Wood, potentially Murray, but I don't think Whittaker is he's probably not a Premier League level player. He's not quite got the dribbling as a winger, at least. We'll see though. I'm sure I'll find a way. Whittaker just trying to prove me wrong here, but yeah, we've kind of beaten my expectations the last 2 seasons because I was expecting last season in League 1 to be quite tough and we got promoted. And this season, I was expecting it to be a really, really difficult season. And actually, it looks like we're going to be in the playoffs by the end of the season. Whether we can continue our good form, I don't know. But if we can, there's a possibility, whisper it quietly, that we could end up actually doing something quite special by the end of the season. So Sariki can play as a winger rather than an inverted winger. There we go. Scott into Viner. Chased down by Nathan Wood and finds Callum White, who's had a really promising debut. Into Wood again. These two are just passing it between the two of them. Whelan finds McNeil and Sariki's in behind. Can he get a good cross in? not really anyone to aim for. He still went for it, but didn't really achieve anything by that. Whelan into, oh, that's a great ball into Sariki, and he's put it home for his third goal of the season. And yeah, he's done pretty well as a winger so far in this game. At least since he came on. It's only been 2 minutes, but he's already gone into a dangerous position and then scored from his second attempt. And it looks like we are heading through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. Very nice. Callum White. Cleared out by Moore. Not quite sure how Murray got to that. It looked like it was a handball, to be honest, but we move. Callum White overlapping. Sends another great ball in, and Kinley's there this time. Callum White he's got a good cross on him. It's not necessarily shown in his stats. I mean, they're decent for a regen as a crosser, because usually you get sort of 7s and 8s at fullback. But he's had 2 phenomenal crosses this game. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come, and if anything, he can get even better at them. In which case, he might become a truly, I won't go as far to say world class, but a top level right back in the Premier League. Now, if you're wondering who on earth are the players on our bench, simply because we have basically no players fit or available. So we've got a few players obviously who are loans who can't play because we can't have more than 5 loanees in the squad. We've got Hosanna injured and we've got Mullin suspended, so it's a very threadbare squad, and we've only got 3 recognisable substitutes, of which one of them is a goalkeeper. Not going to be easy, but we are playing at Sheffield Wednesday, who are in 20th place. They're the ones who actually signed Joe Hugill, who I wanted to sign on a permanent at the start of the season for a really cut price deal, but he turned us down for them. And look how it's going there, mate. Callum White somehow finds McNeil. I'm not going to say that was an incredible cross from White, because it was, I don't know what happened, but I think it was poor defending, really. Misjudged the cross. But it is very promising that White seems to be, pretty much every cross we've seen him do has resulted in a goal. Galbraith into O'Connor, and Whittaker has completely messed that one up. Not his finest finish. And he looks to get in behind, but Good gets there first. Hugill now breaks past Dunkley, but can't find Sykes, and Maxwell steps in well to deal with that. Galbraith into Whittaker. That's a phenomenal finish. Much better than his previous attempt on goal. Really nice goal. Lovely chip. Always a nice one to watch on Football Manager. Straight away, we have another chance coming up. Whether that's us or them, I don't know, but it looks like it might be us. Whittaker stepping in, finds McNeil. Good ball in, and that's a really good save from Whelan. Harris into Good. O'Malley collects pretty comfortably from that header on. Sheffield Wednesday not quite able to get hold of the ball. It's a phenomenal pass into Garnacho. What can he do from here? Savin able to collect. We are certainly controlling the game. We've had pretty much, we did have pretty much double the shots and shots on target, but the expected goals were miles ahead, and we've had 2 really good goals so far. McNeil now breaking through the midfield into Whelan, and he's just put it wide. Savin did get close to, I think he would have had it covered, but just wide from Whelan. And let's let's hope that we can hold on to this lead in the second half and that it will project us even further up the table. I don't know if we're close enough to anyone to make up that ground. It looked like a slight miscommunication between O'Malley and White, but we've dealt with it fine. And now White on the right hand side looking to break through from the defence. Not his finest moment, passing it straight to Sheffield Wednesday. And now Sykes. Falls back to Good. And now on to Savin. Akinola holding onto the ball for quite a while there. Hugill finds Wright. White was a little bit out of position, but thankfully isn't punished. White exchanges passes with Wood. And again, Galbraith now finds Garnacho on the right. White's overlapped him, but he's found McNeil instead, and that's a really good save. Got down really well. It was a powerful effort, so I'm impressed that he managed to get down to that. But yeah, that's why he was in the Dream 11 in League One. So that was last season. So you can see why he was so highly thought of, at least. I think we'll get some substitutes on soon. So we'll get Whittaker off, 4.5 star now. We'll get O'Connor off for Dane Murray. And then we might end up getting on, no, we don't have any central midfielders to bring on, but we'll do what we can. Thomas. Palmer. Galbraith finds Garnacho and gets the return pass. Dunkley into Maxwell, and Whittaker about to come off. Gets in behind and finishes. That's a good way to come off before you get substituted. And we will proceed with those tactical changes simply because of the fitness. Need to find a way to get Galbraith off. Guess Ash McNeil can go there. Oh, this is going to be a bit complicated. Garnacho can go there. Gidley can go there. And Owain Laird Potts can go there. I have absolutely no idea what to expect of this guy. He's probably not very good. Not at all. He's awful. But such is the struggle sometimes with sort of 1 or 2 games a season. You just have basically no squad. And when we've already got quite a thin squad as we do, that makes it even harder. Whelan finds Garnacho, searches out Ginley, and just blocked by the Sheffield Wednesday defender. Good play though. And that will be that. 3-0 victory in a game that supposedly we weren't favourites for, but I would have expected us to win. We're now in 4th. This team is doing something. We're going places. I think it's too much to say we'd be able to catch either Brentford or Crystal Palace. But we could catch QPR, and actually we've done really well against QPR this season. We've beaten them 5-1 and 3-0. So hopefully that's a good sign for the future. Also Norwich in 18th, that's a surprising one. Really dropping down in the leagues over time. But yeah, that is a really promising episode from us. We've done really well. Charlie Whittaker, as usual, is playing well. And yeah, who is this guy? A little bit expensive for our budget, but would be a good option for future, I think. He's asking to leave though. Don't think we'll be able to sign him for another 1.5 years, so no opportunities to get him on a free at the end of the year. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as it really helps me out. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a fantastic day.